Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Well guys, what we're doing tonight is we're doing some tubing because I'm pushing the limit with these heads. And what we have going on here, guys, is this right here. Try to get the light out of your eyes, guys. Sorry about that, it's feeding back too much. I'm knocking this wall back right here around where the push rod comes through. So I tubed it and I epoxied it back. Still gotta be smoothed out, but it's better, fellas. Has a straighter run. That's what I'm doing. I'm after to get the air to move straight. I'm not trying to hog it out. You'd never know that by the way it looks, but that's all I'm after. But one thing about the port so far is that I was able to widen it around the guide, get that back pretty far. And so that's a good thing, because if you just open this area up here and don't do this, then you might as well leave it alone in the first place. But look at this, fellas, from that to that. See how the wall comes over? You can only see half the guide looking through here, and how much is pinched off up here. So you can tell how much I moved all that back, guys. Take a good look at that. I'll try to show you the other side, peek around that corner right there. And then we'll jump back over here. So I think you guys can see quite a bit of difference. I hope it shows up okay. I was watching YouTube the other night, and for our Mopar buddies, ProCharger did a really good job going into some detail about some Mopar heads too, guys. So for our Mopar friends, be sure to check him out, ProCharger. He was showing areas on the Mopar areas on the heads where it's kind of forgotten sometimes on certain heads, and he went into detail about it. He did a really good job, so check him out. Even if you're not into Mopars, it was still good information for anybody porting heads, so it fits everybody. So check ProCharger out. He's one of our guys on here, so we gotta support each other. But getting back to this, guys, like I said, I'm after a straight run, okay? So therefore, to make this wide, there's no choice to go into the wall right here. And I went through, and I knew I'd go through. I actually talked to Charles about that before I did it. But here's what I want to show you guys. See the size of this. This fits right in there. You can't get it in there. It just won't fit. So that's the big difference from that to that. So we get to the tubing part of this. I went to Lowe's, got some 1/2-inch tube, copper, and it comes with a bunch of labels on it, fellas. And when you peel this off, those stickers, the easiest way to get that off is peel it off and then just use some PD Blaster on a rag, and we'll take the glue right off. So that's one of the easy parts. But I got my better half helping me here, fellas. She's gonna hold the phone for me. But what I wanted to show you guys is when you start out, where you got the camera at, the easiest way to do this, to figure out how to cut your guide that you'll be putting in here, your insert, whatever you want to call it, stick a screwdriver through there, put your finger here, and I pre-measured this, fellas. I already marked it, and that's how long it will be. Just keep the camera there, darling. And then just lay it up on top. Real scientific, fellas. And then you'll just mark it. Just keep going around. Mark it. And it's best to cut all of these at one time, guys. Once you make your own, I'm off here, fellas, but I'm just trying to show you for a demonstration. I'm not really doing this right now. I pre-cut mine already, but I gotta cut the rest of them. But you get the idea, guys. But I did want to tell you is that once you cut that, your first one, then you could just use that to for a template. So, and then of course when you cut it, it's going to be a little bit rough. So then you'll just run it on a flat file, get the burrs off of it, and it doesn't hurt to go around this a little bit either to smooth it out around the edges so it goes through the head easier. And then of course you want to use some penetrating oil down inside where you're putting your insert. And before any of this other stuff, fellas, what you want to do is run a tap through here a bit, or any kind of burr that you have. You can do it that way. Use one of these, just run it through with your drill and clean it out, and you'll have to actually have this a tiny bit larger, of course, than the insert that you're putting in, because they're the same size. So that's what we're going to do, fellas. We're going to do this. A little bit of penetrating oil in there. I got more on the backs than I did on the head, but just start it in like that. Then you can use a screwdriver like this. And get your trustworthy hammer. Try this out, show you guys where you can see. And it's best to do this, fellas, before you go through. If you go through on this first and then decide to do tubing, that's not the right way to do it. I'm not saying you can't do it that way. It's just that you'll get a easier way to get the insert in if you do it this way first, and it keeps everything more true that way. But it's not hard, guys. I mean, there you go. So then when I get ready to do this side and I break through, it won't be no big deal. So I hope that helps you fellas out, in case you've never done that before. Because when you break through on these walls, fellas, it looks scary. But It's just one of them deals when you want to get performance out of something like I'm doing here. That's the next step you have to do. There are the areas you have to always think about if you want to get into this much work when you do something like this. But anyway, fellas, I hope this is helpful to somebody. And if you can, don't get yourself over the edge like I'm doing with these heads. Just do a good cleanup on your stuff, unless you're trying to really make a sleeper and really want to get everything out of the heads you can get out of them. That's what I'm doing, fellas, but I'm really pushing the limit on these. But I didn't want to see anybody else try to imitate this and wind up with a couple boat anchors. Because I'm on the verge with these guys, believe me, I'm close. But anyway, fellas, I hope you all have a good night. And thank you for checking the channel out again. And I want to thank you fellas for hanging in there with me, and all the new subscribers. I appreciate all you. Have a good night, everybody.